Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay. Greetings, student award winners, families and friends of students, faculty and staff of the University of Michigan-Dearborn and the Natural Sciences Department. I want to welcome you to the 28th Annual Awards Ceremony, which acknowledges our best students for all the hard work, intelligence, and dedication to their studies. Now, obviously, this is not the way we would want to acknowledge you, and we especially know how important this is for your families to see you being recognized in front of the faculty and your fellow students. But given the current situation, this is the best we can do. And so I think we'll suffer through this. It's nice to see a few faces, and I hope that your family can join you as we acknowledge your hard work. First off, I want to thank our office staff for putting this program together, and most importantly, Kelly Lettingham for spending multiple hours watching YouTube videos learning how to use Blue Jeans for such a large audience. But I also want to thank the rest of the office staff, namely Nicole Hefty, Tamara Hawkins, our newest office staff member, Michelle Rahman, and the students who helped out this year, Leah, Kamara, and Lauren. I want to thank the rest of our science staff as well. These people are extremely dedicated to making sure that all of our operations run smoothly, and we couldn't teach our classes, and specifically, we couldn't teach our labs without you. So kudos and thanks to Soon, Kurt, Tasha, Corey, RJ, and over in the EIC, I want to thank Mike, Rick, and Dorothy for all that they do at the Environmental Interpretive Center. I want to specifically also thank our science faculty. These are a truly dedicated group of scientists and scholars and teachers who have embraced the teacher-scholar model here at the University of Michigan-Dearborn. And let me define what the teacher-scholar model is for the families that are out there of all our great students, because I think even though the students have been living it the last 3, 4 years, 5 years, the families may not appreciate all that goes into being a scholar. So let me read just a short bit here from, this is a journal called the Association of American Colleges and Universities, and this is from 2007, and I've modified it just slightly. And this is a definition of a teacher scholar. So teacher scholars are committed to high quality undergraduate education. They pursue an active program of research and scholarship and are presumed to enliven and enrich their teaching and the student experience by incorporating insights from their own research into their instructional activities and student advising. Teacher scholars are also expected to promote deep approaches to learning through activities that encourage students to process information in ways that help them make qualitative distinctions about the merits of database claims or the persuasiveness of logic-based arguments. This is contrasted with surface-level processing, which emphasizes rote learning and memorization techniques. So teacher scholars promote a much deeper level processing which focuses on both the substance and the underlying meanings of the information. So this is a very different education than students will receive at most any other Michigan university. Our faculty have come here because they believe in this model. They believe in conducting research with undergraduates and incorporating that research into their teaching. To prove this, let me cite one piece of data. Over the last 10 years, our faculty have published 166 scientific articles in high-quality scientific journals with undergraduates as authors. So, on average, that's 17 undergraduates per year leave here, UMD, as a published author scientist. I think that's really impressive. So I'm telling you this because I believe you the student, came to the right place when you chose the University of Michigan-Dearborn. And now I want to thank you, our best students. You are the ones that put up with incredibly difficult exams, many quizzes, long papers, and lab reports, and many, 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 many hours in our labs. I think it's generally hard for you to communicate to your family and friends the actual amount of time, the extra time that science students have to put into all the labs you have to take, especially those organic chemistry labs that most of you had to take. I mean, 4 hours, twice a week, really? You're probably all wishing you waited one more semester so you could take it online this summer instead. Anyway, you made it, right? You did it. You sacrificed. When your friends were going out to restaurants, coffee shops, or bars, or exercising, or when they were just talking with friends or family or watching TV, you were reading, you were taking notes, you were writing, you were calculating, you were working in the lab. Somehow you weren't doing those fun things and you were focused on getting the project done or getting the best grade on the assignment. So I think you have shown that you have the intelligence, the perseverance, and the willpower to succeed in your classes, and for many of you to complete some really cool research. You have shown that you can be successful in academia. Now, to really make a difference in this world, I want you to go a little bit further. Most of you are graduating. Some of you will be back next summer, or this summer, and be back next year. But you are entering a world with so many unknowns right now, and a world filled with fear. It is hard for you to plan your future, given the current situation, and you have many life-altering decisions you need to make over the next few years. But hopefully we have given you the fundamentals. We've given you the base for helping you to make these important decisions. You know that scientists make decisions based on data, and you know how to conduct a test, you know how to reduce variables, and you know the importance of reproducibility. These are important ideas that you can use in whatever career you end up doing in your everyday life decisions. Personally, I want you to find something that you find really interesting, that you have some passion for, and follow that. I want you to use your scientific skills and be as creative as you can be, because we will need creative scientists and citizens to solve the problems of finding new fuels, dealing with climate change, and to solve the pandemic we find ourselves in right now. I also want you to help your neighbor. So don't worry about making mistakes. That is what scientists do. We make mistakes. We are supposed to make mistakes. We test for variables, and most of the time we get it wrong. So you already have the perseverance. I want you to find your passion, be unique, add some creativity, and just keep going. And help some people along the way if you can. So I want to share two 2-minute videos of an interview with Dr. James P. Allison, who won the Nobel Prize for Physiology Medicine in 2018. And the Nobel Prize is the top award you can win internationally for many different fields, but specifically in science as well. And he shared this award with Tezuka Hanjo of Japan in 2018 for their discovery of cancer therapy by inhibition of negative immune regulation. And I know I will hear from the biologists if I get this wrong, but let me try and explain some of Allison's research in simple terms, and then I'll show you the quick videos. So basically, if I understand it correctly, a person's immune system is prevented from attacking certain cancer cells by a certain kind of T cell, and I call it a T cell because it develops in your thymus gland. Dr. Allison worked on these T cells for about 40 years, and he found that by blocking T cell inhibitors with certain antibodies was a way of unleashing the body's own anti-tumor immune response. So basically, he was letting the body, someone's own body, fight the cancer itself. And there was a certain cell in there that was blocking this attack. And once he was able to stop that blocking, the body's own immune system could fight the cancer. And so this led to a development of certain drugs that target these T cells and has led to cancer patients recovering from metastatic melanoma. Okay, so 2 videos really quick here. Okay, first one is, what kind of student were you?
As a student, I think I had a pretty strong will. Not that I was studious or particularly disciplined in my approach to science, but I was approach to my studies. But I think I was inquisitive and creative enough that, I mean, I got in trouble a lot at school. And one big one was when, after my experience at the University of Texas in the summer, working in a laboratory taking biology, I came back and I'd known about evolution, but really having been exposed to this class, realized how fundamental the ideas of, Darwin about selection were just fundamental to understanding biology. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of trees, phyla, species, all this stuff, family, kingdom, all this. And, that's a way of organizing it, but it's not a way that helps you understand. But, the principles of selection can help you understand how things work and how things got to where they're going. And better yet, give you a worldview where you can begin to predict what's going to happen in the future. And so I refused to take the course because it didn't have evolution in it. For religious reasons, they didn't teach it. And I said, well, I'm not going to take the course. And anyway, it was quite a sort of playing chicken with the school, because they said, you have to take it because you needed to graduate. So I'm not going to waste my time on memorizing kingdom phyla and all that stuff. And so they finally relented, let me take biology from the University of Texas again by correspondence. So fought my way to getting the proper training.
One more video to share. What qualities are necessary to be a successful scientist?
I think to be a successful scientist, of course, you need to have a high degree of intelligence and discipline. After all, science involves making hypotheses and testing them. I said most of the time you're wrong. And one thing that a lot of people miss too, and you have to, especially young people, you have to really get the sentiments. And even after you do that, it's kind of tedious because finally get it all together. And you got to do it all again at least twice more to make sure it's reproducible, and so you can't skip that step just because something happens once. You can't, you got to do it all. So you just got to be able to persevere. But at the same time, know when you're going down the wrong track. So it takes discipline, but creativity. You've got to learn how to view your data as a crystal or something, where you look at every facet of it, get to know it from every direction, and look at what it tells you beyond the reason that you did the experiment to figure it out. So I think that's pretty much it. It's the ability to really study the data and really learn what it's telling you in order to avoid keep doing experiments that just are going to give you results that are consistent with what you think you should get. Your job is really to turn that on its head and say, I want to design the experiment. There's no other explanation except one from this experiment. Design it to try to prove yourself wrong. Try hard, not just the easy ones, that are consistent, but the killer experiment. I think it's the ability to recognize those and seek those rather than just the easy stuff.
Okay, wise words from Dr. Allison. So in terms of what you can get out of that, what I get out of that is you need to have intelligence, but you have that gift. You've already demonstrated that. You need to have perseverance. You already have demonstrated that quality. You need to be creative, though, You need to be honest, and you don't need to worry about making mistakes, and you will go far, whatever field you go into. So besides, who's going to get us out of this pandemic besides scientists, right? So I want to start acknowledging our best students. So our professors will be announcing the awards in those specific majors where the student is obtaining their degree. And then I will close the ceremony afterwards after all the awards are given out. So we will start with Dr. Peter Elkers giving out the awards to students majoring in biochemistry.
Thank you, Sven. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm coming through. I'm unpinned. I pin now. Am I coming through? Hello? Yes, okay. All right, so it's my pleasure to represent the biochemistry faculty to acknowledge some very high achieving students in the biochemistry major. Before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to be a little more egalitarian and acknowledge the efforts of many of our students. I've been impressed across the board of our students. Again, I'm bragging about the program, but they are challenged with many things. More recently, more challenged with learning remotely, and I've been impressed by how many of them rolled with it and have stepped up and done very good work and work, even with distinct challenges. And so I think that's definitely worth acknowledging before about our forest high achieving students. Even among them, I think we had to make some very hard choices, and it's worth acknowledging that there have been some great students in biochemistry, and these students represent our greatest. So I'm happy to do this. So our first award goes to the Honor Scholar, an essential highest award that can be given in biochemistry, and the awardee is Selena Neme. So Selena has been consistently and actively engaged, thorough student, very mature in her approach to science. If I may borrow from Dr. Bernard's words, Selena has an uncanny ability to write, lead, interpret, and analyze data critically. So Selena, has been a pleasure to have in class, in multiple classes, and so it's my pleasure to confer upon her the Honor Scholar in Biochemistry. So to give her a virtual handshake. Welcome, congratulations, Selena. Hopefully we get to see you soon in person, and I don't know, and talk more about biochemistry, what have you. So congratulations to Selena. And I have to applaud because no one else can hear applause. So see how that goes. The second award I'd like to confer is for the American Chemical Society Outstanding Undergraduate. And so the American Chemical Society, the ACS, organization for chemists, although there's a biochemistry component to the ACS as well. And this year's awardee is Yasmin Al-Qadri. And congratulations to Yasmin. So Yasmin has set the bar in biochemistry too as a junior. So our curriculum asks a lot of our juniors to take our production classes, which is really a real crucible, if you will. And so a lot of them, the ones that really achieve, especially as juniors, it's a particularly impressive accomplishment. So Yasmin is among those. If I had to describe Yasmin, I'd say she's a relentless intellect and a powerful combination of enthusiasm and confidence. So for Yasmin, instead of a handshake, more of a high five. Way to go, Yasmin. I think you really accomplished something and will do great things. So I think I speak for all the faculty when I say that. The third awardee I'd like to acknowledge is being granted the award from the American Institute of Chemists for being the outstanding biochemistry senior. And this is Nadia Aboumarad. So congratulations, Nadia. Nadia set the bar in molecular biology, again as a junior, since we put these guys really through some paces in their junior year, and when they can come through and really get the highest grade in the class, then it's quite a striking feat. Nadia's a double major in psychology, which is why you just study biology and chemistry together. We're not studying how brains work as well. So that's just how Nadia works, I think. Nadia definitely has a quiet confidence that comes through and just a real ability just to crank through information and understand it and be able to explain it. So for Nadia, I give her a big fist bump. She's more of the quiet, solid type, and so congratulations to Nadia. Our fourth awardee is receiving actually a new award, and this is a reward in Biochemistry Distinguished Research Award, and this goes to Lena Geratli. So congratulations to Lena. Lena was a Chancellor's Medallion Award winner, which is the highest award that the university can give. And honestly, we had to come up with an award because we had to give Lena an award, but we couldn't give her highest award because we got to share the awards. It's too much. So Lena is just a fantastic student, and the Chancellor's Award comes with a couple of paragraphs of student award accomplishments, so I won't go through all those. I think it's suffice to say that Lena did research in her first 3 years of time in college and took the last year off from research. So that she did a lot even before her senior year. And she published a paper titled, I'll try to say it only breathing once, a gain-of-function paradox targeted therapy for glioblastoma associated with abnormal NEH9 expression. So this is high-level stuff. Work with doctors Dr. Kandapalli and Bandiopadhyay, and really did some great work. And you can talk to them, and they'll tell you more about it. So, congratulations, Lena. And I apologize if I've been short with folks. I'm just trying to certainly highlight their best skills and accomplishments, and it's really a pleasure to have all these great students in class. So again, on behalf of the biochemistry faculty, thank you to the students for all the great efforts. It's been our pleasure, and we look forward to hearing about the great things you've done in the future. So now I'd like to pass to Kalyan Kandapalli, who will be conferring the first awards, I understand, unless I have the order wrong, in biology. So, Kalyan.
Thank you, Peter. I am not pinned. I don't know if anyone's. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you, Peter. There are very few occasions where we get to celebrate the success of our department, and more especially our research labs. So I'm really excited to talk about our students today. So the students I'm going to talk to you today are strong examples of our department's unique strength in our college, which is where undergraduate students get to conduct independent research and publish primary author research articles in reputed journals. This is something that is not always possible even at research one institutes for undergraduate students, and which I would say is more unique for our department. The students I'm going to talk to you about today are Ashley Powell and Shelby Sutcliffe. Both of these students joined my research lab at different times, but what is common to both is they started the research in my lab after their experience in the cell biology lab associated with the cell biology class I teach. Now coming to Ashley, I'm really proud to present the Honor Scholar Award to Ashley. I have known her for 3 years now. She has been a student in some of my classes. She also worked as a student mentor, a teaching assistant, and has conducted research in my lab for about 2.5 years now. I would say she's been one of the most productive students thus far in my lab, with 3 papers published, and we have 1 under preparation. So she will have 4 papers from here. In addition to one of the undergraduate research fellowships from the University of Michigan-Dearborn, she also received a number of other awards, such as the Distinguished Research Award, the Dearborn Difference Makers Award, Outstanding Student Employee Award, and so on. She's currently working as a research assistant at a drug development company in Ann Arbor, and she was recruited while working in my lab even before graduating. And she's continuing some of the work in the oncology, and to be more specific, she's, I think, currently working in the area of preclinical oncology, and she plans on pursuing graduate studies soon. So I'm really proud of Ashley and what she we talk about students, Ashley's name always comes. The second today, Cliff is another outstanding research student in my lab. She has been working in my lab for about a year. She researched before. She's been working on projects and about to complete work which would have been shut down. This did not stop her from being productive. She's currently writing a review with me and that out in the next month or two. So congratulations. And for the next set of awards, I'd like to pass this to Dr. Heineke.
Okay, thank you, Kalyan. So I'm not sure my video is streaming now, but hopefully you can all hear me. Right now I'm looking at a picture of Nick Licata rather than me, but that's okay. So I'm going to be presenting two awards. One of them is the Wiley Health Award, and the other one is a Distinguished Research Award. The Wiley Health Award is an award given to a biological sciences student who has done outstanding work at the University of Michigan-Dearborn and plans to pursue a career in the health sciences. This year's awardee is Mohammed Haydous. And Mohammed, I've had as a student in genetics, but he's also been very active outside of the classroom. As a student, he's exceptional, and you can always count on him to ask insightful questions. But I think the most impressive work that Mohammed's done as a member of the UM-Dearborn community is as the president of the Lions Club for the last 2 years. The Lions Club on campus is one of the most active student organizations that I'm aware of. They do a lot of work not only on campus but in the community, some of which is health related, such as providing vision screenings for low-income people, some of which is educational, such as going to elementary schools and giving science presentations, and then some of which takes in things like packing meals for local food shelves. So Mohammed's been a real leader in this organization and has shown through this leadership his concern for his fellow humans. And so, of course, as a science major who has a concern for fellow humans, you'd expect that that person would want to go into health sciences, and Mohammed is going to be attending medical school upon his soon-to-come graduation. So congratulations, Mohammed, for receiving the Wiley Health Award. And I'll just mention, as part of that, the Wiley Publishing Company will provide you with a book of some kind. So we'll send you out the details on that when that's ready. Okay. My second award that I'm presenting is a Distinguished Research Award, and this award is being presented to Rashal Shahori. Rashal has been doing research in my lab for the past couple of years, and her research is focused on the evolutionary biology of lizards. She's done quite a bit of DNA sequencing work, which can be, in some cases, challenging because she's working with non-model organisms, and so what that means is that the experiments she's applying are ones that haven't necessarily been optimized in the past, and there's a lot of failures sometimes before you get the DNA sequencing reactions to work properly. But she's been an exceptional worker in the laboratory, and the work that she's done has led to the discovery of actually new species of lizards. So it's pretty exciting work if, like me, you're a lizard evolutionary biologist. So congratulations, Rashal, for receiving a Distinguished Research Award. And I wish you were going on to become a lizard biologist, but good luck in medical school, which you'll be starting very soon. Okay, so those are the awards I'm presenting. I'm going to then pass the floor to the next presenter, which is Marilee Bernard.
Hi. Somebody put up a thumb if you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me, and I'm seeing Matt, not myself. So So he laughed, so I know he can hear me. So I am presenting the award to 3 students, and since they've been working together, I'm going to put them all together. These awardees are Batul Torfi, Zachary Awad, and Nidhi Patel. These 3 biology majors have proved that they are as terrific in the lab as they are in the classroom. They're working on a joint project with Professor Marinchin and I. And in our labs, we're developing a method to test for the nutrient riboflavin. And this is a problem in humans who are at risk for vitamin deficiencies. Riboflavin is necessary for energy and metabolism. Doing this research requires knowledge not only of biology, but also of biochemistry and organic chemistry. So Nidhi, Batul, and Zachary have worked independently and as a team to conduct a series of synthetic, very challenging steps to create a brand new, never before seen on this planet molecule. And they have been making good progress towards that. Each of these students is a terrific student. They're all very hard workers. They have great attitudes and good senses of humor, I know, because they laugh at my jokes. And it's been a real pleasure to work with them this term. So we're very proud of their work, their ability to work in the lab and then online troubleshooting and doing critical thinking and understanding the literature. So Batul, Zachary, Nidhi, congratulations. And now I am going to pass on to Professor Elena Zhang, who's going to give the next couple of awards in Distinguished Research category.
Thank you. Hi. Okay, it's my pleasure to present 2 Distinguished Research Awards to 2 students, Zahra Bazi and Mariam Rizk. Yeah, Mariam and Zahra, they are doing their independent research on ER stress after pediatric traumatic brain injuries. They are focusing on the beta amyloid and tau pathology, and also trying to find the link between brain injuries and the early onset of Alzheimer's disease. Again, they both working so hard, and they both awarded undergraduate student independent research grants. Congratulations for your amazing work. And also, Zahra and Mariam, you are such hardworking students and always willing to take on the challenges. And you are passionate about research and always willing to work extra hours. You check on the animals during the holidays, during the weekends, and you are so reliable. I could always count on you. You know, when other lab members could not continue their work, you just took over and completed the work with perfection. Thank you so much. Zahra and Mariam, I truly wish I could see it in person. And both of you have such positive attitudes and show such strong leadership. You are the one who truly motivate me, and I'm so grateful to have you on my research team. I just want to thank you again for your amazing achievements. Stay safe and healthy. Now I'm going to pass the floor to Dr. Chris Arturi. And thank you again.
Zhang, I'm here to present a Distinguished Research Award to one of my students, Zahra Seklawi, and she was referred to me by Professor Sheila Smith. And when I met Zahra, she was clearly very bright, very inquisitive, and highly motivated, which is all very important characteristics for a scientist. And unfortunately, she was not, I'm not even sure she had any microbiology background, which was interesting to me since I'm a microbiologist. But I took a chance with Zahra, and that turned out to be a very, very wise choice on my part. Zahra has been really outstanding in the laboratory. She's been doing a fairly complicated genetic screen that she actually helped me design. So she learned a great deal of experimental design, which I think is important and unusual at the undergraduate level. She helped develop the proper controls for her genetic screen. We developed a secondary screen to confirm the things that she found. And Zara has just been absolutely amazing in the laboratory and very, very meticulous with just probably the gold standard lab notebook that I'm going to use for all the students that come after her. And I just really wanted to say that Zara's work is really instrumental for our laboratory, which is just getting started here at Dearborn. And we're going to use that work that she started to really generate a lot of projects over the years, as I realistically expect to have happen. So anyway, Zara, thank you very, very much for working with me in the laboratory, and this high honor of a Distinguished Research Award is well deserved. Thank you. And now I'm going to pass the mic over to Professor Francois to tell us more about biology scholars. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I have something to share about 3 really fantastic research students. I call them the Dream Team: Ileana Malovana, Audrey Cruz, and Amber Roulard. Now, why are they called the Dream Team? These students are exceptional researchers. They're passionate, they're dedicated, they work with spiders, which requires fighting off mosquitoes and literally wading into water to get their data on these spiders that are found along Michigan waterways. From record-breaking cold in the early spring of last year to the really hot days in last summer, they persevered. They gathered data under very difficult field conditions. But their research didn't stop there. They recorded videos of spider behavior and then spent countless hours coding each behavior so we could learn how these spiders are influenced by the level of prey that exists in their environment and how climate change is impacting their ability to reproduce. They've made very insightful observations, and I'm really, really incredibly proud of them. They've found some really surprising results. And we planned to present their research at the annual meeting of the Animal Behavior Society, but that conference, like many others, was canceled. But their work is going to be shared through the Natural Sciences online poster session, which is going to be held in the future. So I want to take a moment just to describe each of these remarkable young women. Ileana Malovana is a brilliant and keen observer of the smallest details of spider behavior. She's been the leader of the Dream Team. She taught the other members the intricacies of coding the behavioral videos. And she's been a leader in developing our ethogram codes that we use to describe behavior in a scientific way. She once asked me why I chose her as a research student, but I turned others away. And I answered that, from having her in my classes, I knew she had a special set of skills: brilliant mind, keen observation skills, and a dedication and a passion for getting the details right, no matter how long it took. These are skills that can't be taught. Her attention to detail, her fine technical skills will serve her well in her future profession. She's been working as a scribe during this pandemic, already helping so many in our community. She's applying to medical school, and I know that she will become a fantastic doctor. Thank you so much, Ileana. It's been such a pleasure working with you, and I just want to say congratulations. The next member of the Dream Team is Audrey Cruz. She took animal behavior with me as a freshman, and she excelled. And then she joined my research team and participated in the SURE Summer Undergraduate Research Program last summer. I love her descriptions of spider behavior recorded in those videos, and especially love the day she found a really rare event, which was something no one had seen before. Cannibalism in the field, where a male consumed a female. Every evolutionary biologist I share this with gasps because it's so counterintuitive. A male should invest in mating females, not eating them. But as in all things, life is a trade-off. And in this species, a male needs to live a long time. So if he encounters a less than quality female and she doesn't have anything in her web to steal, he eats her. And Audrey was the first to record this. I'm really looking forward to Audrey presenting this research at a scientific conference in the future, as she still has a few years left before she graduates. She's talented, she has an amazing eye for detail, and the ability to fix a problem before I even know it exists. We would not have recorded this cannibalism event if she had not branched out, literally, to other field sites over the course of the summer to find where the spiders had been migrating to. She's also spent countless hours in the lab coding behavior videos, and the fruits of that labor are paying off. And I just want to say thank you, Audrey. It's such a pleasure working with you. You are fantastic, and you're going to be an amazing researcher. Congratulations, Audrey. Amber Roulard is the third member of the Dream Team. Amber has spent the last year recording behavioral videos in the lab, coding them, and she's developed a new way to look at fighting behavior. She's scoring this behavior in a different way and providing the first data we have on fighting in the field in the species, which has never been looked at before. And she's found that some males who take over female webs and kick them off are being mistaken themselves as females by other males, which is a really fascinating result. So I'm very excited to continue this with her and dig a little deeper into the fighting behavior of these spiders. Amber is interested in horticulture, and she plans to continue on that path in the future. So I hope she keeps her fondness for spiders and teaches other horticulturalists to befriend the spiders in their greenhouses. So thank you so much, Amber. It's been a pleasure working with you. Congratulations. So next, I am going to move on to announcing the awards for Biology's Distinguished Seniors. And it is my pleasure, as the chair of biology, to share with you these students. These students are the best of the best, and this honor is bestowed upon them by the biology faculty. And I've had the pleasure of teaching some of you, and I know how special you are. So I'd like to state your names and formally congratulate you as Biology's Distinguished Seniors. Nadine Abeltek, David Agami, Zachary Awad, Stephanie Barna, Jada Bates, Alexandra Brockhagen, Venusha Devarakanda, Samantha El Khatib, Joe El Zagbi, Noah El Agami, Mohammed Hedus, Adnan Hamka, Mohammed Kazbor, Nicole Kilakevicius, Kennedy Quinn, Syed Raza, Hiba Rita, Leo Sullivan, Mohammed Ali Webe. Congratulations on a well-deserved achievement. We are so proud of you, and we wish you all the best in your future careers. I know that each one of you will make a difference in this world for the better, and I hope you all stay in touch. I now want to introduce Tasha Smith, our biology laboratory manager, to announce the Dan Sames Award.
Okay, I hope everybody is able to hear me. Thumbs up. So thanks, Anne. I have the pleasure of working with students every day. A lot of them, they haven't had a job before, so this is their first experience working at a school or just inside of a lab in general. Our prep students that we employ are my heroes. I mean, they do a lot of the work that you guys haven't like in our teaching labs. That all comes through prep students. A lot of them work tirelessly to get the job done. They listen. Sometimes they make mistakes, but they are truly like amazing students. This award that I will be speaking about today goes to my top 2 students. The first one being Saja Odalami. So one thing about her, she emailed me as a high school student, which I've never had before. I've never had a high schooler reach out to me about a job. She hadn't even gotten here yet. And that really showed me how ambitious she was and how eager to get started with her, college education. So when she started working, I worked with her, I trained her, and it didn't take long to actually realize this girl has the goods. She gets things done, and it's so easy to lead her. So she has worked on both Bio 130, anatomy, and she's extremely good at solving problems. In many cases, the problems don't even reach me. She's just able to solve them without me even getting involved. So to her, I want to say thank you and congratulations. I can't believe you've been with me for all these years and now it has come to an end. But I'm extremely proud of the work that you've done in the lab and just all the the great strides you've made. So the next student that I wanted to acknowledge is Michael McChower. So just something funny about Michael, I interviewed him and we laughed for about 5 minutes. Michael is just a big ball of energy. He is hilarious. If you ever need to find Michael, just be quiet because his lab is so loud and just iconic if anybody has worked with him. And Michael is the same. He's a leader in the lab. I've seen in many cases I'm here working and I'll walk down the hall and Michael's there. He's not even on shift. He's on his off day, but he pops in the lab. He makes sure things are running smoothly. He'll call or text me about things. Tasha, is this right? Is this right? I'm like, Michael, you got to relax. But that's just the type of student he is. He cares a lot about the work he does, and I am extremely honored to have the ability to work with him. With these students gone, there's a big hole in my staff now, which is sad. But I know that Michael and Saja are moving on to bigger and better things, and I hope that they stay in contact with us and that they go on and do great things. And I'm extremely proud, and I got a lot of love in me. So I want to say thank you for all your hard work and congratulations. And I wish that I could be with you and hug you and have a party with you, but maybe next time. Okay, thank you. So sorry. So we're gonna pass this to Krisanu, in chemistry. Thank you.
So I'm on. Hi, everybody. Is it okay? Thank you. So hello, everybody, and welcome to our Natural Sciences Award ceremony. And moving on along, I will be presenting the Chemistry Award on behalf of all faculty in chemistry. One of the things which I always, there are a number of things I enjoy being in our department and university, but this is one of the really very, very important event which I have been looking forward ever since I have joined in UM-Dearborn. So I will be starting with, there are a number of awards chemistry is giving away, and these are some of the outstanding students that we have. Most of the students I have encountered, but there are few individual when I don't know much, I have taken help from my colleagues, and they have provided some information, and that I will present on my way. So the first award is the honor scholar is going to Veronica Tridius. This is the highest award from the chemistry. My encounter with Veronica was very interesting. She has been my research student for a long time, maybe more than 2.5 years. It was a summer lab, General Chemistry 2 lab she was taking, and I was the instructor. And I saw that she is a very dedicated worker. She has a very good hand. And I kind of approached to her. I said, hey, do you have any idea about research? So she just looked at me and said, no, I'm doing research already. I said, oh, really? So I found out she is already doing research with my colleague who is very active in research, Anne Danielson Francois. So then I said, okay, then I don't know how it is going to be. You already started research. Then I found out that she is going to be a chemistry major. And then we, of course, we talked. Dan and Anne and I talked, and then it's all history. She has been already. I was so excited to have her in my lab. I'll talk about her more in next some of the awards. She's also featured in a number of awards. But overall, as a student, she's also a biochemistry major. She's a double major, biochemistry, chemistry major. She has been absolutely brilliant in all of the courses. She herself set a very high standard for herself, and she also tried to maintain that. And she expects the other people to reach that level. She has been the president of the chemistry club. She has been involved in a number of different activities, and I'll narrate that story as we move along when the other awards come. So congratulations, Veronica, and for all your achievement. And what I know that she is going to be going to graduate school in fall to University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign Material Science and Engineering. So congratulations again. So moving along, the next award is ACS Outstanding Undergraduate, which goes to Ruba Qasim. Ruba, of course, I have seen her in the hallway. I know she's a very good student. I haven't really interacted with her that much until she become my PChem student, which is quantum mechanics and spectroscopy PChem 2. And I found out that she is really brilliant. The very rare number of people who actually likes quantum mechanics. Then she has been. I had to spend time to come up with problems that I can trick her. But most of the time, she took the better of me and pretty much scored the full score in those exams. Overall, she's a bright woman. She has a bright smile. She makes feel people also happy when you talk to her. And she will, as far as I know, Ruba is going to take some break and going to think about where she can, which field she wants to go for graduate school. Again, Ruba, congratulations on your achievement. Next award is American Institute of Chemists Award, goes to Genevieve Richardson. Genevieve also, I have initially limited interaction, but I have seen her. I have talked to her briefly in the hallway, and I know her also from her past achievement. She had a recipient of General Chemistry Award, and so then finally when I met her and started interacting her in my PChem2 classes, I found out that she has such a wonderful mind. She has been very, very focused. She has been a very kind and nice person. Genevieve is going to take, she is going to go to medical school, and she is preparing for I think for her MCAT. Again, congratulations, Genevieve, for your achievement. Next award is Acs Organic Chemistry Award. So chemistry has a different sub-discipline: organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry. So these awards actually come from after very careful discussion among the sub-discipline faculty members. This award specifically, organic chemistry, we have 3 courses: Organic Chemistry 1 and 2 lecture course, and Organic Chemistry lab. Ramsey Bitter is the recipient of the award. He has been also recipient of the Freshman Chemistry Award, and he comes from a celebrity family. I have been pleasure of having his brother, oldest brother, also in my class and as a research. So I know him very well, how he is. He's a very, very serious person. A smile, of course, but he is mostly very serious. He takes things very seriously. He listens very carefully whenever I say something. He's also doing research on biosensor of dopamine with me. And Ramsey is overall is an outstanding student, which is exemplified from his achievement from freshman and now next in the organic chemistry. And I'm sure there are more to come. Congratulations, Ramsey. The next award comes to from inorganic part of the chemistry. This is also based on 3 inorganic courses: Inorganic 1, Inorganic 2, and Advanced Inorganic Lab. This year, the award goes to Veronica Girios, and so Veronica is also going to get an award later. So my story will continue. I will just defer the story for a few minutes. Okay, and the final award in the ACS Physical Chemistry Award in this category, the sub-discipline of chemistry, it goes to Ruba Qasim. As I said, Ruba, I was having very tough time to come up with problems that can trick her, but she has a very, very strong background of interest in math and differential equation, all these calculus. So there was very, very few equations probably I got the better of her. But as a whole, again, I would say is very few who said, Dr. B, I love the quantum mechanics, which is not natural. But anyway, I am very, very happy, and I would like to see Ruba going to graduate school and continue to do these things and probably inspire other students and inspire the next generation. Okay, so now I'm going to follow up on these 4 brilliant distinguished students who actually going to get a research award. Research award has been awarded to chemistry for those students who are very dedicated in the lab doing research with chemistry faculty, and they have achieved a certain distinction by doing it for a consistent amount of time. I'd like to first call upon Mira Chehim, who worked with my colleague Shannon Lee. I will borrow, because I saw Mira. Of course, I know a little bit about Mira, but I would like to do the justice and read what Shannon has to say about Mira. Mira is a majored in health and human service with a concentration in pre-professional health. Mira joined my research group in fall 2018, right after she completed Chemistry 225 course with me. Her research project is about total synthesis of bioactive oligosaccharide, which contains 3 monosaccharides, sugar subunit. Mira has been able to develop a feasible synthetic route to prepare key monosaccharide building block in 8 synthetic steps. That says a lot, because this is a total synthesis. This is a synthesis always very, very difficult, and managing those compound, running column, it's really a big deal with an undergraduate achieving these kind of steps. So she continues, we are expecting to publish this work by end of this year or beginning of next year if we are able to continue the research this fall. She is dedicated undergraduate researcher who pays great attention to experimental details. She also helps me in mentor other research students who recently joined the lab. I highly impressed and thankful having her as a research student. So this is Mira. Mira, again, from all our chemistry faculty, congratulations on your award and achievement. There are 2 students, Brandon Klein and Ashley Salverio, who worked with my colleague Yue Deng, Professor Yue Deng, and she has written some remarks on their achievement. Brandon, I know him. He's currently in my Physical Chemistry 1 class. He doesn't have to take it, but he's just taking it because he likes physical chemistry. Again, some unusual folks around. So I'll read Yue's, on that she has written on Brandon and Ashley. Brandon Klein is a double major in behavioral and biological sciences and art history with a minor in chemistry. Ashley Salvador is a junior and a biological science major. Both have been worked on a photochemistry of parabens in aquatic environment under the guidance of me. Parabens are antimicrobial preservatives that are used extensively in pharmaceuticals and foods to prevent microbial growth. Some parabens demonstrate estrogenically and multiple hormonal activities in vitro. The research aims to study the environmental behavior of parabens only once they are released in the environment. Brandon has focused on the effect of irradiation of wavelength on kinetics of photodegradation of parabens, and Ashley has focused on the effect of pH on P kinetics of homodegradation of parabens. So both of them learned quickly in the fundamental laboratory skills, and they have also worked on a presentation which was they are supposed to present in an undergraduate research symposium, which was of course canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As far as the future goes, Brandon will be graduating in the fall and is considering PhD program in chemistry. Ashley would like to pursue a career in medical research with a focus on cancer cell biology. And this December, she will be applying to a graduate school and hope to earn PhD in her chosen discipline. Congratulations, Brandon and Ashley, on your achievement. Finally, I'd like to recognize Veronica Giros again and conclude her story. So she has been working, as I said, she has been working with me for almost like 3 years. And she has been consistently managing a lab of 10 to 12 students. She has presented her research in a national conference. She has won the Best Poster Award in National American Chemical Society meeting in Boston last year. And this year, although it has been canceled, she has been awarded one of the 4 PY awards. PY is research from primarily undergraduate institution, has been awarded by Colloidal and Surface Science Division of American Chemical Society. She is one of the 4 recipients of that award. overall, the approach she brings to the lab and the way she handled the project, she's already been ready for graduate school. And I'm glad that I have come across, Veronica, and Anne helped me to hand over almost like a finished product, which I don't have to worry about. And she has been started from the day one. And that has been a wonderful journey, so far. And as I mentioned that she will be going to Urbana-Champaign for her graduate studies. And it will be always, a hole in our lab when some students like this caliber moves on. But I'm happy that she has been recognized and she has been moving forward to her life. And what I also believe that she would like to be in academics, and that is a sincere hope that idea will stay, as she move on. Okay, so all these distinguished award one more time. Again, congratulations on your achievement. The last segment of the award in chemistry, I would like to recognize. This is the category we gave called Freshman Chemistry Achievement Award. This is based on we have a large chemistry, entry classes. We have Chem 134 and 136, and there is also another engineering focus, Chem 144 and 146. The instructor who teaches these courses, we recommend students, and then we had a get together and discuss about the students' achievement, and then we decide these students for Freshman Chemistry Award. So these four, what you can see in the list: Duha Al-Rasul, Tejas Al-Tabale, Zakia Hassi, and Michael Zarin. These are the most outstanding students who performed consistently between the two sequence of chemistry. I can say a few words about these awardee. Duha and Tejas was been in my 136. They have been recommended from 134 by my colleague Dan Lawson and Samia Al-Kasi. They were been outstanding. Both of them received the highest grade. They have been almost perfect as they took the exams. It has been tough exam 4. We have 4 exams, 3 exams, and a cumulative final. It's not easy. Tejas is kind of interesting. I most of the time I have seen him eating in the back. He has probably 4 course of meal. He eats, like a 75 minutes lecture, different boxes coming out from his bag, and I don't even see that he's paying attention. There are a lot. He's one of the common item was a chickpeas curry. So that and rice. That he basically ate the whole time. Duha, on the other hand, she's very quiet, very few words. She has asked really, really great questions when it comes, and it helps to open up the discussion. Both of them are currently working with me in my lab. They have been taking care the void space which other great students have moved on, and they are doing very good in their research. Dua is also helping. She's a great SI leader as well, and this is some of the budding future you will see more often in the next award. Zakia Hassi, she came from. I would like to recognize she came from Ann Arbor. This is when I was teaching 134 and Professor Bazi was teaching 136. We highly recommend because of her absolutely immaculate record of in chemistry. She goes originally to Ann Arbor, but she was taking these 2 courses in Dearborn, and she did absolutely brilliant. But one thing was interesting when I asked Zekia that, how you feel about chemistry. So she said, Dr. B, I don't really like chemistry, but you see that, the way, consistently how she did so well. And finally, I like to recognize Michael Zarin. I would say, I never met this student, but I have heard a lot of good thing about him. And my colleague Augie Stewart, who recommended this student for this award after going through 144 and 146, the engineering version of the chemistry, writes that Michael is the top student in both 144 and 146. He had the highest exam score, lab score, and the highest in all other assignments. He was also very polite, easygoing, and very hardworking. One of the best students I have ever seen. So congratulations again on these achievements to all of you, the Freshman Chemistry Award. And finally, I would like to conclude also on behalf of my all chemistry colleagues, we are very, very honored and excited about your possibility and congratulate you again for these all achievements. Thank you. And I would like to pass on to my colleague, Jacob Nepolewski for the next award.
Thank you, Chris. Can people hear me? All right, can everyone hear me? Yes, great, fantastic. Okay, so I have just one award to give, and this is for Geological Sciences, our honor scholar, and I have the privilege of giving this award to Michael, AKA Mike Solomon. I have known Mike for a couple of years. We seem to meet up more often in another country than we do in a classroom. He has followed me to 3 different study abroad programs. First one was to Iceland. I tried to get rid of him. He came back for more, so we went to Cyprus. And then just recently, we came back from Montserrat before the world kind of ended as we know it. Mike is a wonderful person. He's very brave, so I watched him jump off a 45-foot sea cliff while a bunch of Russians in Speedos watched and wondered if they could do the same thing. I've seen him turn around and help colleagues in ways that we would hope our students do, but not all students are willing to share knowledge and information. I've seen him reach out and help students that needed help with either cooking foods and stepping up and doing things that showed true character. And I also like to comment that when I work with students in the fields, a lot of times you have that one student that gets lots of eye rolls. They seem to know the answer to everything. And Mike was one of those students that when it was his turn, his observations in the field tended to be spot on, very detailed, very scientific. And he was always willing to share them, but again, that would get the eye rolls from his classmates as it was time for Mike to give his answers. What did he find? What did he see? I've seen him in a course where we also did some hiking and did some geology work in Niagara Falls. One of my favorite stories that I tell about doing field work, which can be really intense. When Mike and his classmates were in Niagara Falls, it was probably 90 degrees and we were ill prepared for hot temperatures. And I remember on the day before heading home, we were hiking in really rough conditions. And Mike was wearing some heavy clothes, including jeans and hiking boots, and he was sweating profusely. And we finally got to the side of the Niagara River, and it was a little bay where the water was swirling around, fast-moving Niagara Falls River just passing by. And I remember Mike just sweating from head to toe, just took off his backpack and just entered the water like a baptism. Didn't take off his boots, just kept his jeans on, never complained. Just entered the water and sat there and cooled off, got out, put his backpack on, and just kept going. And when you're a field scientist, those are the types of characteristics you look for. So for me, when we look at the honor scholars, Mike's name stood out, and I'm really happy to give the award for Geology Honor Scholar to Mike Solomon. So congratulations, Mike. So we have one more geology award, so I'm going to hand it over to Tom Bianchetti.
Thank you. So this is the James Komak Award for undergraduate research, and I am very, very happy to award this to Elise Arnett, who I know very well over the last couple of years. Elise has had many of my classes. She's had remote sensing. She's had geodesy. She's currently in my environmental communication class, and she is an excellent student. She is very, very hardworking, and those classes, they take a broad range of skill sets that Elise definitely has. So that is very, very good. What is also very important is that Elise is a very, very good person. She's very nice, very considerate, and she is the type of person that any research team would be super, super happy to have her on it and taking a very, very strong role with that research team. But the thing that I think is most impressive about Elise, and this is a research award, she signed up for my directed research, Geology 499, which is field and laboratory research. And I think a lot of students, when they get into geology research and they are relatively new, they think that field work is nice and neat and comfortable. So Elise and I went to the margins of Lake Erie, and this was in late March, and it was absolutely freezing. I bet it was in the high 30s. And I was covered head to toe in water because I went in with no waders on. I have no idea why I did that. She was on the margins, shivering profusely. And so we were on the margins of Lake Erie 8-9 hours. And it's those moments when you kind of worry that the students are going to go running for the hills and you never see them ever again. But I think that it was that moment that I think that Elise really had a strong interest in the research because she loved that trip. She became more engaged in the lab research, and I think that those moments really propelled her interest and love for earth science. So now she is in the MSCS program. She is a proctor for the GAM lab, and she has a really, really bright future. And I'm very interested to hear about her update. So Elise, congratulations. We're all very proud of you in the geology program. And the next speaker, I will hand it off to Dr. Susko.
Okay, hi everyone. Again, my name is David Susko. I'm a biology professor, and I'm also the director of the university's Environmental Interpretive Center. And it's my privilege to be talking to you about two very special women who I've had the special ability to teach and supervise in those two roles. So the first person I'd like to talk about is Caitlin Tatro. Caitlin is a dynamo. Anyone who knows her knows that she is a very ambitious and conscientious person. She is a multi-award winner. She was just recognized as a difference maker here on campus. She was a recipient of the Chancellor's Scholarship, and she's been very active in both the research and community service areas for our campus. She's done research with Dr. Danielson Francois, looking at the sexual selection of spiders, and for that she was awarded a undergraduate research fellowship. She's also done work with both Tom and Jacob in the Geospatial Analysis and Mapping Lab. She's just a whirlwind. I can tell you that I originally met her in a seminar on environmental issues class that I was teaching, and she stood out with her oral presentation that she gave in that class. And she actually approached me about getting more involved on campus. And at first I was a bit resistant. She thought it might be worth applying for a grant as part of the Ford Motor Company's College Community Challenge program. And I talked a little bit about the idea. The idea was to promote and conserve local pollinators in the area. And when we got into the specifics, she happened to mention that the grant was due 2 days from now. And I said, well, this is probably not going to happen, but if you'd like to come up with a little proposal that we could flesh out, I am free over the next couple of days, and we might be able to sit down and come up with something. And I was quite surprised to see her the next day with a finished product that after some massaging on my part, we were able to submit. And to make a long story short, from that initial proposal, which I was somewhat wary of, possibly having any success, I can tell you that 6 months later, we received a $25,000 grant from Ford Motor Company after competing with more than 50 schools from across the country. And I'm proud to say that we beat out several schools that you might recognize, including Harvard and University of Michigan-Ann Arbor. So kudos to Caitlin. You were wise enough to see something beyond perhaps even what I could be imagining as being successful. So currently, Caitlin's working with me on this project. It's called the Pollination Project. And we've developed a number of promotional materials. We're in the process of setting up workshops for the public, as well as local schools to become involved in this project. And like a lot of these other initiatives, it's been temporarily delayed because of the COVID pandemic. But it's just a delay. It hasn't stopped the work. It's just a temporary pause. Caitlin is a dual major in both environmental science and economics. Last year, she was the recipient of the Environmental Science Research Award, and she's currently working, and I give her so much credit, as a registration clerk at St. Mary Mercy Hospital in Livonia. And you can imagine what that sort of environment is like currently that she's dealing with. And my understanding is that she's going to be working the night shift, starting midnights, beginning next week. So I give her all the credit in the world for continuing to help the community in the various ways that she has. So I'd just like to sum up and say thank you for everything that you're doing with us, Caitlin, and I continue to look forward in the months ahead to working with you on the Pollination Project. And congratulations once again on being the recipient of the Environmental Science Honors Award. Now, the second person, another special woman that I'd like to talk about, is Dale Brown. I've known Dale for about 3 or so years, and like Caitlin, I've taught her in a number of classes, but I've had the privilege of getting to know her a little bit better in the capacity of working with her at the Environmental Interpretive Center. Dale lights up a room. She has this sort of inner glow about her, and that is conveyed to the people that meet her. Dale, like Caitlin, was also recognized as a difference maker this year. She is an outstanding student academically. She has a 4.0 GPA, and she's just a wonderful person to be around. Always positive, always helpful, definitely a self-starter, and can work entirely independently on any assignment that you give to her. So we trust her with many various roles working over at the Environmental Interpretive Center. She's been a part-time student staff interpreter for the last several years, during which time she has led programs, literally probably hundreds of programs for thousands of K-12 students from throughout the southeastern Michigan region. She has also been the coordinator of the Rouge River Water Festival for the past 2 years. Unfortunately, this year's version was canceled. It takes place every spring here on campus, but because of the current situation, we're not able to offer it. But Dale had been in the planning stages for this year's version. She is also the person who runs the Children's Garden program in the summertime. That happened last year. Unfortunately, it's not going to be offered this year, again, because of the current circumstances. And she's just been involved in almost every individual program that we have to offer at the center, including the Young Naturalist program. And as she has matured from 1 year to the next, she has taken the freshman and sophomore and junior students under her wing and guided and instructed them on how they could be successful in their roles in delivering community outreach and service. So Dale, I'm hoping, will continue on with me on a number of projects, including our current one, which is called Dearborn Shines. This is a project that's funded by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund. And in her role, because Dale actually is a non-traditional student, she was in the workforce for about 15 years working in the landscape industry. And having known this, I had approached Dale and said, would you be interested in a project which would involve installing schoolyard gardens as outdoor learning environments throughout the Dearborn public school system? And she was very excited to join on. And in the last 2 years, she has managed and overseen the installation of 8 different schoolyard gardens at Dearborn Elementary and middle schools. And we're in the process of round 2, which would include the installation of 8 new gardens, including one at an early childhood education center. But again, like with a lot of these other ongoing initiatives, there's a temporary pause with visiting those schools and interacting with the children. But what I want to say to Dale is congratulations. You've had a profound impact on me and on all the people who have come through the doors of the Environmental Interpretive Center. And as I was thinking about what I might say about Dale, I went back and looked at her original resume that she submitted in order to work at the Interpretive Center. And I came across a line that I thought kind of encapsulates what Dale has done for us. So in her resume, under objective, Dale said, I seek employment through which I can provide service to the community and to the environment and to find joy in the performance of it. Well, I can attest to the fact that you've definitely served the community, and I think and hope that you found your joy in doing it. So thanks again, Dale and Caitlin, and it's my privilege to now turn things over to Sonia.
Thanks, David. All right, hello everybody. I'm here to present the Microbiology Scholar Award and one of the Distinguished Research Award in Microbiology. So this year's Microbiology Award goes to Catherine Kofi. It has been a long road for Katie. Katie came to UM-Dearborn from Schoolcraft Community College in 2018, barely graduated from high school, and failed out her first couple of semesters in college because she didn't care. It wasn't until she went back and fixed all of her zeros that she discovered that she has a knack for science. So taking a scanning electron microscopy course at Schoolcraft Community College sparked her interest in microbiology, and so she transferred to UM-Dearborn to pursue a degree in microbiology. I'm so proud of Katie and to all of our students like her who did not have a good start in college but work very hard to catch up and excel in their chosen fields. Katie is bright and so capable in every area. She did well in all of her microbiology courses, and she's a pleasure to teach. She has no plans to go for grad school as of yet, but her interest is immunology and pathology. She hopes to get a job in a research lab. Katie enjoys reading, taking walks, going to museums, watching hockey, and spending time with her cats. She wants to gain some perspective during this time of crisis and volunteer at soup kitchens or make masks to help our first responders. I am so proud of what Katie has achieved so far, and I know that she will do great things in the future. Congratulations, Katie. So we have 2 students to receive the Distinguished Award in Microbiology. The first one is being presented to Zainab Hamoud. Zainab Hamoud is a biology major with a minor in microbiology. I have known her since fall of 2018, and since then, she has taken all of the microbiology courses that I've taught. She could have majored in microbiology, but it was too late for her to switch her major. Zainab joined my research lab in summer of 2019, and as a pre-med student, her research interest leans more towards the public health aspect of microbiology. So for her research, she screened and characterized virulence genes from E. coli strains we isolated from St. Clair River and Lake St. Clair. She's one of the most reliable students that I had this year. She supervised and trained new students in my lab, and her attention to detail and inquisitive attitude served her well in that regard. Her abstract was accepted for presentation to the American Society for Microbiology this year, but unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the meeting has been canceled. Zainab has spoken to me a lot about her plans for medical school, and I have enjoyed seeing her enthusiasm about a professional career. Her commitment to her field and her hard work in pursuing her goals will serve her well in medical school. She's very interested in neurology, which is what she sees herself specializing in the future. Zainab volunteered over 300 hours at Providence Park Hospital, attending to patients in times of need. She taught computer science to children after school for 1 year, and she has also volunteered at Beaumont Hospital, transporting surgical supply equipment to operating rooms. Zainab has a long way to go to fulfill her dreams, but I know it will all work out. She's very smart, she's a hard worker, and she's very passionate about helping people. I wish her all the best and success in her future endeavors. Congratulations, Zainab. Now I'd like to pass the floor to Chris Altieri, who will be presenting the other Distinguished Research Awardee in Microbiology.
Thank you, Sonia. I have a research award to present to Miriam Nasser, and Miriam's been a student in an immunology class with me and pathogenic microbiology class before she came to work in my lab. In fact, Miriam was the first student to join my lab when I came here. So that's interesting. Sorry about that. I have to let the cat out. So anyway, I have a prop here, an old-fashioned prop. We were on TV. Miriam was on TV. There she is there with the arrow. Probably I should have drawn some safety glasses on her, but you know, got to wear the safety glasses, guys. So anyway, Miriam is one of those students who's like the glue that holds the lab together. So not only does she have great research skills and great critical thinking skills, her personality and the way she interacts with others is really, really important and cannot be overstated how important those kinds of intangible skills are in the laboratory. And so Miriam really is the glue that binds my lab together, and for that I'm very grateful. Miriam is doing a gap year right now, so she's going to be going to medical school. I'm quite sure of that. And in this gap time, you know, her plan was to continue doing her research and mentoring some of the more junior students in the lab, and I hope we will be able to continue that eventually. But nonetheless, you know, Miriam is absolutely fearless in a good way, meaning that you know, she tries to take stuff she's learned and apply it to the research problems, and I think that's the big hurdle we're all trying to get our students over to be able to do, to take what are they learning in the class, or what little bit of information do I have, and how can I apply that to this research program. And Miriam's absolutely fearless at trying to come up with hypotheses and reasons why we got the data we got, and that's going to also serve her very well in the clinic when she gets there eventually. And so I really would just like to say thank you, Miriam. This is a high honor and well-deserved. So thank you again for your service in the lab. And I'm going to pass this over. I don't know why I always get people I can't pronounce their last names. So this is Professor Naparalski. He's going to present another award. Thank you.
Hello. Excellent pronunciations. No complaints from me. If I can just add real quick to what David and Tom said earlier, that I've had Elise and Caitlin, and both are very deserving of their awards, so congrats to them as well. So I'm giving an award out for the Honor Scholar at the graduate level for the Masters of Environmental Science. When we received the list of students that were eligible, it was very bimodal. It was either Nagam Mehdi or anybody else, and everybody else was very far away from her in terms of GPA. So this is a student who is completing our graduate program, and she almost has a 4.0. She has 1 A- from a very grouchy professor. It turns out it was me. I had to double check, so I'm the one that ruined her 4.0, and I apologize. But I remember, I think she was in my class, one of the first classes she took in the program, and she was an outstanding student, punctual, very dedicated to her craft. I have some words from Dr. John Thomas, who she worked with as part of her research, and he commented on her devotion to the lab work, her ability to review scientific literature, and then of course her high quality reports. He also commented on her personality and her interest in doing things that were worthwhile and of value. So she always made connections back to where she's from and some of the problems, environmental problems, and seeing how she can solve some of these problems and what kind of role she can play. It's also very impressive because, again, it needs to be said at the graduate level in our program, it's sometimes difficult to be a student. A lot of times you're balancing family life, having kids, or working, or both. And she's done all of that and still has maintained an extremely high GPA and has done absolutely high quality work in every single class. So it's an honor for me to give Naga Mehdi an award for Honor Scholar at the graduate level. So congratulations to her. And now I'll just hand off to some really wicked smart physics kids. So Nick Licata will hand over some awards to our physics students.
Great, thanks. So I'm going to be presenting the physics awards. So I'm going to start with the Honor Scholar. So our Honor Scholar in physics this year is David Choi. So I've known David for a couple of years. I've had a couple of classes with him. And I'll start with a little anecdote about David as a student. So he had kind of a quiet demeanor, and this was only partially successful in masking his very deep understanding of the subject and the field. So before I knew David fairly well, he was enrolled in my Physics 401 class. This is a course on classical mechanics. And, you know, we'd go from Newton through Lagrange to Hamilton and all the powerhouses of physics, uncovering the mysteries of the universe. So when we do these long, laborious calculations, I'm used to students turning in problem sets that are a dozen pages stapled. And then the first set David turned in, he handed me a single page, a single piece of paper. So I was a little bit disappointed, thinking that he had given me something half-baked. But when I looked at it later, I recognized David was the most efficient student in terms of transmitting information. So neatly handwritten in 0.1 font, mechanical pencil, was just an absolutely beautiful exposition of everything that I had asked him to do. And I'd say as an instructor, one of the sort of great joys of being an instructor is when through your interactions with students, you feel like you gain a new perspective on something that you feel like you understood fairly well. And that's just consistently been my interactions with David, both inside and outside of the classroom, is that while he's quite reserved when you get him to speak up, there's just a real beauty to what he has to say. It's also worth mentioning that David has been engaged, like many of our best students, not only in the classroom but in research, with several members of the faculty in physics, both Professor Naik and Clarkson, but not only in physics but also in mathematics. So he's an exceptional student in the fact that he's actually been research active in more than one department. And I think there are very few people who have the intellectual breadth and depth of knowledge to say that they can actually go through and be researchers in not just one discipline, but two. So to sort of close, I'll say David's plans next year, he's going to apply to graduate school in the fall. And I'm sure that whatever he chooses to do, what subfield of physics he goes into, he'll be very successful, and will be, the department will be a slightly sadder place, but we're happy to see him spread his wings and move on to what's next. The second award that I want to talk about is our Outstanding Physics Student, and our Outstanding Physics Student Award this year is Wei-Yan Feng. When I initially contacted her to ask her for some comments about the award, she said that she was surprised to have achieved it, although she should not have been. In all of my interactions with UAN, I've been very, very impressed by both the quality and consistency and methodical nature to the way that she devotes her time as a student. Had her in several classes, and she's really been at the top of the class in each of them. One of the other kind of remarkable things is that UA has this manner in which she seems to be involved in everything at once, but most of the time when people they have their fingers in every pot, the end result is a lot of undercooked food. But somehow for UA, she manages to be involved in everything, but do an excellent job at the same time. And I don't know how she manages to do it, but not only excel in the classroom, but through her role in sort of helping other students, both in the program and more broadly at the campus level, be a success. So she's been active within physics. She's also been a supplemental instructor leader, both in our department and in the Math Learning Center. And she's engaged as a research student with Dr. Clarkson. So somehow she's juggled all of these things, but she's done it with sort of grace and persistence, and the results have been really fantastic. So she's kind of the fabric of our current cohort of graduates, and the Physics Study Lounge will be a sadder place next year when she's no longer a student. Her current plans are also to apply to graduate school in medical physics or biophysics in the fall, not to be outdone just as soon as she finishes that astrophysics research with Dr. Clarkson. So I want to congratulate UAN for her job and her recognition as the outstanding physics student. So to David and UA, congratulations. And I will now pass the mic to Dr. McDowell, who will talk about the Supplementary Instruction Awards.
Thank you. So like Nick mentioned, I'm the director of our Science Learning Center, and I coordinate our supplemental instruction program in the sciences, which means I have the honor of working with about 40 of our strongest students across the sciences in biology, chemistry, physics. And I'm just honored to work with them, and I'm honored to present some awards to two of our top SI leaders today. So if you're not familiar with SI, it's a really great program where we target classes that are traditionally difficult. And we have students who are undergrads who've recently taken those classes and done well in them. They come back and lead study groups to help other students succeed in those difficult classes. It's really a win-win program that helps the students who attend the study groups. It helps our SI leaders solidify their knowledge. It gives the faculty another resource to help students. And in the transition to this online work, I think a lot of our SI students have helped both faculty and students troubleshoot technological issues in addition to content issues. So they've really been great resources in this tough time. The students who are interested in being SI leaders, they're not only great students, but they're interested in giving back to their community and helping their fellow students. So they're just fantastic human beings that I have a chance to work with. As you've heard, a lot of our top students are SI leaders, so I looked through the program and saw about a dozen of the students who are getting awards today who've been great SI leaders for us throughout the sciences. So I want to say thank you to all of them and all the hard work that all of them have done. I want to especially recognize two of our SI leaders, Lena Giratli and Omaima Bazi, who we're giving the Outstanding SI Leader Award to today. They've really gone above and beyond. They have both been SI leaders for 3 years. Usually I'm happy to have students for 2 years to stick around and be SI leaders, but they've been working with us for 3 years, both of them. So I'm super thankful for all of their work over the last few years. And both of them have taken on leadership roles in the program. So both of them have worked as mentors, mentoring other SI leaders. So they give them feedback on their plans for the study sessions, just general tips and advice. And both of them have suggested improvements to our program, to our processes, to the workflow for SI leaders. So their impact on the program is going to remain long after they are no longer SI leaders with us. So I really want to appreciate their work, their contributions, and I want to thank them for their contributions to SI in general, and also to their fellow students and to the University of Michigan-Dearborn community overall. So thank you very much for your hard work. And then I think I'm just going to go ahead and hand it back over to Professor Sven Morgan for some closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Thanks to everyone for attending our virtual award ceremony this year. I think it is really clear that we have some extremely talented students who really care about their work, their research, and the future of their own future and the future of our country and the world. So it's nice to hear about so many students who really care about what's happening next and what's happening right now. I think it's also really important to say thank you to the parents and caregivers of our students for helping and promoting our students to be so successful. Our students would never be able to achieve this level of success without the support of their parents and caregivers. So kudos to you for producing such wonderful young people, and some older people too. So finally, students, stay in touch with us. These relationships we've developed with you over the years are really meaningful to us too. I think they are for you, but they are for us too. We get to know you on a one-on-one basis, which doesn't happen everywhere, and it's meaningful to us. And once again, that's why we're here. So we want to follow you. We want to track your success. And remember, don't be afraid to fail. Persevere, keep digging, and we will all get through this. Good luck, and see you back in Dearborn soon. Okay, this concludes our 28th annual award ceremony. Thanks to everybody, and have a good weekend.